Hey guys, Philip with Trade Genius. Want to dive into our Bitcoin outlook. Still fighting this pennant that we're consolidating in from the blow-off tops that we had back in December. So where do we go from here? Well, let's dive into it in today's video.
Trade Genius.
Okay, so if you remember on our last outlook video for Bitcoin, we said that what we would typically, or what we would likely see, is as we come off this bottom, we were actually looking to come up. We were talking about the WMA20, which is this moving average line here. We also had this trend line, which is this dotted line now. Since we broke it, I tend to make those a dotted line, and that's broken. So now what's happened is we've come up. Originally, this level we were looking at, this 7,700 level, 7,800 level, was coincided with the that moving average and that trend line. It didn't quite just run up there right away, so that actually came down a bit before price moved up. Price has been pretty sideways and small ranges relative to what we've seen in the past. You know, we're used to seeing these kind of daily bars that are like $800. We just haven't seen a whole lot of that. In fact, the average range has really shrunken quite a bit to levels that are as small as we've seen in a very, very, very long time. So again, I think not only is price consolidating, but so is the volume. It's contracting. And so that's going to be key to seeing really an upside sustained move would be, seeing volume come back again. We did have it to a certain extent here. We saw it come up, and that was great. But ever since this area here, we've just seen the shaded area. You can see is just going down. The shaded area is the average volume, and so that needs to correct. Okay, so back to the price action. We actually did break out of that trend line once we got up through it. That basically produced these two daily green bars. And we came up and we had a target of 77.50 in the room. We just tagged that and came down off of that. So what we're looking for here is basically either a retest of this old trend line, which can happen, or we come all the way back down and retest the bottom of the pennant. As you can see, this area here is similar to the price action over here. And sometimes these pennant bounces can be a little tricky, and you may get a move up like here, but it'll come back and retest. And, it's a couple of head fakes before you actually get the real move. And like I said, the real move would be helpful to see a big, daily bar like that to kind of confirm the price action. Typically, when you get a big daily bar like this off of support, you will get a continued move up and follow through. Now, obviously, we have to go with what's been holding price, and that's been this trend line. And so that's typically what our target would be currently off this move. So if we do get a full retrace back to this level here at about around the 7,300 area, at that point, you'd have a very small stop, and your target's going to be about 9K. So that's currently what we're looking at on the daily for Bitcoin. If we look at the 4-hour chart, we'll drill down to the smaller time frames. 4-hour chart, you can see here we had a nice sell signal with our swing trade indicator. If you're interested in that, go to tradegenius.co. You can pick that indicator up there. And that fired right on this bar here, pretty much kind of an overnight signal. And so that bar closed at 76.82, confirming that signal, and then we just dropped. And so far, we've seen over $200 on that move. This was an ascending wedge that we were in. We talked about that in the room, and we have fallen out of that. You may see sometimes you might see a move back up a little bit to retest it, and then a further move down. Looking to get long in this area here, though, that also coincides with this bull fib zone here, and also some support right in this area here. Price reacted to this level on that inverted head and shoulders that we have here. Inverted head and shoulders they haven't been producing very much moves ever since this basically this downtrend environment that we've been in. It seems like we just get right above them, and then the breakouts just don't really sustain. That being said, we did break out a little bit, and maybe this trend line, this neckline, will hold us here for a little bounce up before we roll over for some more downside. Again, these bounces off the pennants can be tricky. Again, looking at the daily chart, you can see how it transpired back here. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, hourly chart, we've fallen out of our linear regression channel that we like to use. So this indicates short-term oversold. We're also hitting the 200 period moving average on the hourly chart. So, we're going to likely we'll see a little bit of a bounce. If you're scalping, you can take advantage of stuff like that. But position trading, we're looking for more larger areas of support. So immediately that's what we'll be looking at. It's just a short-term oversold. Will bounce up and then another continuation down. You could probably make an argument for this would be the first move down, and then you'll have a second move down, and a lot of times you'll see a third move down, something like that. So that would be kind of what we're looking at on the hourly time frame. We do have this upper trend line which has been holding pretty steady. We'll be curious to see if this holds a we can clone this and see if it holds a price channel. Sometimes that happens. You get something like down here like this, and you get then you've created a price channel. And Bitcoin's time and time again has done that. It'll stay in a price channel for a while and then break out or down. But we'll see. I think this, if this doesn't hold here, then you're looking at 7,300. So a small bounce here, then I suspect a retest of this level here, and then a breakdown is kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen to 7,300. At which case, I think a lot of people will be thinking about a double bottom here, or possibly that 6,800 level, which everyone seems to be clamoring for. But this area is going to coincide with that bottom of the pennant. Again, on the daily, and then we'll wrap this up. The key here, and we're going to go over this on Ethereum and Litecoin. We're going to look at those in depth in the coming videos this week. We really want to see and get above this mid area on this bounce up here. So whatever this decides to do and then move up, clearing this mid zone is going to be key. There's monthly pivots and things like that are in there that I think are be key for technical price action. Now, once we get above that, I think that's basically going to really make this a high probability play up to 9,000. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Trade Genius.